Hello everyone. Now I'm going to show you an even better way of performing the lookups, and that is by using index and match. So now index and match are seen as a good flexible alternative to using VLOOKUP when performing your lookups. So really understand what those advantages are. I'm going to start out by telling you about the main drawback when it comes to using a VLOOKUP. So I quickly switch back to a VLOOKUP spreadsheet and let me delete this first. Now when you're performing a VLOOKUP, remember that your columns are essentially numbered, and that enables you to pull back the information that you need. So for example, if I am looking up the figures for teamwork, I put my VLOOKUP together and I count my number of columns, and you always count from left to right. So 1, 2, 3. And teamwork is the third column. A VLOOKUP where the VLOOKUP value is to the right of what you are trying to look up. So if I was using communication as my lookup value and I wanted to pull back the employee information, I would not be able to do that because I can't add minus figures into my VLOOKUP. So I could not say look for the word communication and then count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 7 in order to pull back that employee name. So VLOOKUP has an implementation that you can only look from left to right and you will look up. Value must always be to the left of the information that you want to look up. Now that might be absolutely fine for you, and in a lot of the scenarios you come across it will be probably be completely fine. However, there are some occasions where you need to be able to do a lookup where you can literally search anywhere in the table using a lookup value, and that is where the index and match comes in. But before that, let me show you one thing. Suppose we are using VLOOKUP here, lookup value from where we are searching, just choose a whole table. We want the teamwork 1, 2, 3, comma 0. We just want an exact match. So it's just showing ET, Laura, teamwork, ET. So at this time we can see. So suppose I'm using again here VLOOKUP. Just let me go here. Let me fix this. And I am just getting all the three values of employee name and the teamwork value it just here. Suppose if I'm just going to insert a new column, and you can see all the values will be 0, but when we are using an index and match, it will just give me the whole value. Let me show you how. Index, just choose one we want, and here I'm using a match. Lookup value will be Alex. Lookup array will be employee name here. I want an exact match bracket. Yes. So just see. Here I have used a VLOOKUP, and here I am used index and match. So whenever I flag for any cause, I'm just inserting a row. So when you are using a VLOOKUP, it will just show a 0, and by using index and match, it will just give me an exact value. So that's the difference between VLOOKUP and index and match. So now come to an index and match now. So here I'm just going to explain you index and match. So on this worksheet here, you will see that this might be some kind of market research. Uh, market research spreadsheet, and this is showing me some of the most popular apps available for the iPhone X. So show me the category that app falls in. It's showing me the name of the app, and you can see here we have a lots of the popular ones here and those kind of things. The type of app that it is. So if it contains in app purchases, free and subscription, it will show here. And we have the revenue for that particular app and the profit. I can see it may be for the year 2023. We can just assuming that. So I then have a blank cells for category, type, profit, revenue, and I want to populate all of this. So essentially what I want to do here is I want to look up Google Docs in this table of the data, and I want to pull back the category, the type, the profit, and the revenue. Now the reason why I wouldn't use VLOOKUP for this is because in this case of the category, if you look at where the category falls, category is in column 1 and my lookup value is the app which is in column 2. So if I was doing a VLOOKUP utilizing Google Docs, I would not able to count forward columns using a VLOOKUP because the thing I am trying to look up is actually to the left of the lookup value. So this is why in this case I am going to use an index along match. So let me start out by showing you them separately. We have already seen, take a look at what index does on its own, because quite often you will hear index and match. You have seen the index and match together in the same sentence because they are so frequently used together. But they are in fact completely separate functions, and as always you will find them on the formulas given. Lookup in formulas given the lookup and the reference, and you will see index here and match here. Let's so first of all I'm going to type in equals index. It's just open my bracket, and yeah, now you can see we have quite a few arguments underneath here. So now you don't necessarily have to use all of them. Remember, any arguments that are in these square brackets are optional arguments. So what I'm going to focus on here is just selecting the array and the row number. So the thing is I need to think of here is when I am doing an index is what am I looking up. When I am looking up the category, so the first thing it is asking me for is the array. So I'm going to go to my table and I'm going to select the category array. So I have selected the category array here, and all the array means is the cell range. So I'm going to select everything in my category column from A4 to A32. So now it's asking me for a row number. Just put a comma here, and after that it's asking for a row number. So I am looking up a Google Docs. So what I need to do is count down rows until I get to Google Docs. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 here I'm just going to close my bracket and see. But imagine again if you had a lot more data that I've got here. I don't have a particularly large data set, so it's a quite easy for me to count down, if not a little tedious, but essentially to make this more efficient we want to do what we did in the last example and automate the finding of this row number by putting So suppose if we have a when we have a large data set, we cannot count actually. Okay, so at this time we are using a match function here. So lookup value will be Google Docs here, and we are just Google Docs will be from the app column. Just select all this, comma again. I just want an exact match. Close the bracket and see. And suppose I'm choosing any other app and it will give me this OneDrive. Sorry, I think for OneDrive also it is a productivity. So social media. For the Facebook, it's just showing a social media. Now, if I wanted to make this even more efficient and easier to read, I could start naming some of these columns. So, for example, I'm going to name the category, the app, and the type column. So, I'm going to click on category, Control Shift down, and I'm just going to in my formulas tab. I will just go to create from selection. I'll just choose a top row here. Okay, so now you can see I can utilize this in my index and match just to make the entire formula a lot neater. So let's do another one. I'm going to say index for my type index here. Press tab here. Going to just we choose type here. Just press tab and it will select a whole column for me. Comma here, match. Press tab here. Lookup value will be Google Docs here. Lookup array, we will just comma lookup array where we will find this. So it will be in apps. So apps will be here. So you can see it will just select a whole column here, and by comma press exact match, close the bracket. Let me put in another bracket, and yeah, it's all done. It's just showing the Google Docs. So let's check it. You can see this column. The type here is Google Docs free. But if you can compare it, you can see here in the productivity or whatever the ranges it's selected. But when I'm using the named ranges, it's just a lot neater. So that's all for the. So let me show you. I'm just giving the ranges first. Okay. So here, Control Shift down arrow. Go in formulas tab, create from selection, top row, and yeah. So my profit had been given or named, had been named already and named now. So now I'm just going for index here, press tab, array, just go for profit tab here, row number. For this I will use a match function now. A lookup value will be Google Docs, where I will find Google Docs in the app column. So I will just put app tab comma exact match, close the bracket, enter. So now my value is there. So now we can see here Google Docs. So all the values there, and if I'm just changing this, and you can see I'm using a Slack here, all the values will change. So that is the power of index and match. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much. Bye.